Normally, for a watch or don't watch, I say such and such season one. But for this show, which was called Almost Human, that came out in 2013, there was only one season. And so the complete show is what I'll be talking about, whether it's a watch or a don't watch. So after the ad read, I will break down the Carl Urban and Michael Ealy, formerly on Fox a long time ago, show called Almost Human. Almost Human, like I said before the open rolled, came out in 2013 and it starred Carl Urban and Michael Ealy. Carl Urban is a cop in the year 2048, and the show starts out with him having hard times. His leg gets blown off in an investigation. Every cop in this show, in this timeline, in this world, has an android partner, and John, that's Carl Urban's name, he doesn't exactly play well with the the non-human cops. And after he takes 17 months off due to losing his leg, he's, I don't know if the word is forced, but highly encouraged to return back to active duty. Because, obviously he had problems in his head, or it got to him, the fact that he lost his leg in the line of duty. And like I said, he was distrusting of the non human entities of the police force. But when he returns, John Kennicks gets a an older model, an out of date android, which is actually very good for him because he doesn't trust the androids. And this older model, this Dorian model, it's it's been out of rotation or active duty for 4 years. And the thing is, this older model, played by Michael Ealy, is it's much cooler than the modern androids. They're very turned off from the emotional spectrum of things, and honestly, the emotional resonance of the Dorian models is what got them shelved because of the cops feeling as though they are less than. Because obviously the idea a person feels emotions, can get connected, it can get in the way. And then if an android's the same way, then really what's the upside? I mean, I guess maybe it can take more damage perhaps, but then again, you hit the right thing and it's turned off just like a person can get turned off permanently, except I guess the android could be repaired, but some humans can get repaired. So during this working together with Kennicks and Dorian, Carl Urban's character realizes that his ex-girlfriend, I'm pretty sure she's the Nyla Harper, the actress who plays Nyla Harper in the current ABC show The Rookie, which it's always fun to see connections between shows you like and shows you also previously watched and liked, and so that's pretty cool. But he realizes that his ex might have actually been dirty and possibly the cause of the explosion that made him lose his leg. And this reveal is a nice hook to get you to come back for more episodes. And in my opinion, episode 2 is one of the most compelling concepts that the show plays around with. And so it's called Skin. And the reason it's so it stands out is because it deals with the idea of something that has been definitely talked about when it comes to the idea of robotics or non-human humanoid looking things taking human jobs, and that being sex work. And so in this one, we start out at a robotic strip with a robotic strip tease, of course. Why wouldn't that be how the future plays out? It just feels very, what do they say? It's the oldest profession type thing. The concept of selling yourself. But the big twist in the episode is that the non-human companions weren't as enticing if they didn't have human skin. And so the big mystery of the show was figuring out, or the episode was figuring out, who was it that intertwined missing women's skin with the robots to try and corner the market, if you will. And yeah, like I said, it was just a very interesting take on the whole thing. Like Kennex and Dorian investigating one of the missing girls, finding her DNA and figuring out it's with a robot. It's yeah, it was a very unusual, but in the best possible way, type of demonstration of this. And Dorian even struggles to relate to the other non-human profession, if you will. Because, and I'm a big fan of Michael Ealy, even in this show where he's not meant to be emoting a lot because he's non-human, he does it in such a way as to feel off, but also be relatable, which is such a it's such a contrast of a thing to say, but it's also the way that I feel like he was best at presenting his portrayal of this non-human character. And just like with the first episode, I thought the second one was 5 out of 5 stars. I just think that the show started out so strong, and when Dorian tells the sex bot that he has to that she has to be destroyed, he also says that I will remember you, which I thought was pretty powerful, given that, you know, he's not alive in story, and neither is she. Although, you know, they also wrestle with that concept throughout. And John Kennex goes on to see his old partner's family to show that he kept his partner's memory, alive. Thank you for being here at Mr. Super Oz. This video is going out, and this channel only exists because I, Oz, founded Gamble Comics, which first release was Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel called All Day Long, available now. Follow the link in the description that will take you to gamblecomics.com. While there, you can get hats, shirts, posters, much, much more, but most importantly, the story itself. Coming soon from Gamble Comics, BC Brute. Episode 3 felt very much like it wanted to prove that we can do Die Hard with robots, which is a fun idea to have, because they start the show, or the episode, in such a way as to give off the idea that the bad guys are in pursuit of one thing. They started out like the bad guys are here to prove a point, and then as the story plays out, you can see that they're here to actually steal money, and that's what gave me the whole Die Hard. I guess Die Hard with a Vengeance more accurately. But the time frame, the 2048, and the way that Kennex grows and Dorian helps him understand things from a different perspective is really just what made Almost Human such a fun watch. Because I remember in 2013 and leading into 2014, the idea that this was one of my go-to favorite things to tune in to watch. And I just feel like Fox has such a track record of taking, especially science fiction, things that I enjoy and ripping them away. So it happened, I can remember first with a 90s show called Sliders, starring Jerry O'Connell, John Rhys Davies, Clavant Derricks, and Sabrina Lloyd. I can remember them taking this show from me, and I was like, oh man, I was such a big fan. I thought it was some of the most interesting stuff on television. And then when I found out that it got picked up by the Sci-Fi Network, I even chose it over Monday Night Raw because that's how strongly I felt toward the show as far as getting my attention. And then obviously everybody knows that years later Fox notoriously aired, and it started this with Sliders, mind you, but they notoriously aired episodes of Firefly out of order. They played episode 3 first because the first 2 episodes were played last, and then it was a nightmare. But people enjoyed it so much that it was able to rally and get a film. I think that it's too late for Almost Human to rally and get a film, but Karl Urban nowadays is so popular when it comes to The Boys playing Billy Butcher that I don't know, maybe it's not outside the realm of possibilities that we could get a revival or, like I said, an Amazon Prime film perhaps. Because I mean, like, Mr. Monk's final case happened long after the show ended, and so I guess nothing's impossible. And so yeah, I thoroughly recommend Almost Human. It was recently streamable on Tubi. I think they took it down, but it'll probably come back. That's just how streaming goes. It comes and goes. But you can get the first and currently only season on Amazon for a pretty reasonable price. And yeah, like I said, it delivers the known quantity of the cop show in such a way as to turn it on its head, coming at it from a futuristic and fun perspective because of the robot or android element. And yeah, I just think that it does all of the tropes of the police show well, but also differently enough to where it makes it its own special thing. And that's really all I'm asking for when it comes to fun stuff. So the easy answer is Almost Human is a watch from the channel Mr. Super Oz because it does so many things uniquely from its own perspective. Like I said, taking the general premise of Die Hard, doing it in the future, adding robots, technology changes, things like that. Like I said, you take the oldest profession and then you put robots in there. It almost gave me feelings of like Les Mis, the way that the skin episode played out because of the certain characters thinking, oh, that's wrong, that's too far, and other characters thinking, oh, it's fine, it's okay. And so just going at it from the different morality perspectives and just the idea of John Kinnick's where he is in conflict both internally and externally. Internally not knowing who he can trust because of the betrayal of his ex, but also feeling like it's the cold nature of the androids that let him down and caused him to lose a part of himself when it comes to the damage he took on this prior case. And so, yeah, if you ever get a chance to pick up Almost Human, I know that there are Big Lots is going out all over the place. Perhaps you could pop in and find you a full DVD collection for a decent price. I know they often have TV show sets at a good deal. But I mean, like I said, Amazon was the place where I saw it to get for not much at all. I think maybe $19 most, probably less. And so yeah, thank you for tuning in. Come back all next week for more content from Mr. Super Oz.